Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you to Pulaski County Fiscal Court. I've asked Mr. Mark Ranshaw if he would open us up in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. You've all received a copy of those. What would be your pleasure? Motion. Motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item then on the agenda would be our old business. We've got we need to approve a copy of the salary schedule. There is one correction there with Vicki McCreary. She's been brought up, I guess, in line with her position to that new rate. That's the only change that I'm aware of. Motion. Motion to accept them. Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna postpone the water board appointment to a later date, so that'll take us to our department reports. We've got 911. Aaron, you've got a proposal here that you want to present to court?
Yes. We have the RidgeNet Network group doing our, of course, here and over there, the IT work with the computers and whatnot. They've also came to me and said they can also do the radios, our radio side, which it's a totally separate network, still network, but has to deal with radio frequencies and stuff like that. I figure future plans for 911 as far as integration of radios into maybe an internet infrastructure for the county and maybe even surrounding counties with their 911 state plan. I'd like to ask the court permission for the judge to sign a contract with RidgeNet for our maintenance agreement with our radio network.
Don't have any questions for Aaron?
What is the cost? $780? Is that right?
Yes, that's a month, yeah.
Motion.
Second. Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. Brings us to our road department. Then, Ryan, you going to do that?
The only thing this morning, court, is just the approval on our road work request.
Motion.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
And then our treasurer is absent today, so I've got two things to present to you. We've got, first of all, our bill list for July 10th, 2018. You've got a copy of that. It will be your pleasure with that. Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then we've got our monthly bank reconciliation. You all have got a copy of that. What would be your pleasure with that?
Motion.
Second. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And I've got one item that was not on your agenda, but we've been given a bill from the airport for their insurance, and they've asked us to pay this above and beyond what we've already budgeted. But my recommendation to you is we go ahead and pay this out of what we've budgeted, and sort of like what we did last year. At the end of the money, for the county money there, we'll decide whether we can help them going forward. But I've got a bill for, total premiums due by August 1st are $22,372. That's for their insurance. And like I said, last year we did this, and we just took it out of what we had budgeted. And then I think we ended up giving them some extra money at the end of the year, but they're asking us to present this for payment.
I move we take it out of what we've already allotted.
Second. A motion to pay this out of what's already been allotted, and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, citizens' comments, we only had one on the agenda today, was Brenda Mitchell, and she called and said she could not make it, so unless you gentlemen have anything
Yeah.
further?
I got something about this, what Brenda was wanting. I mean, what it is there's a piece of property over on Slate Branch off Chapel's Way. It's restricted as a subdivision, and she brought me the paperwork and all that, saying it is a subdivision. They've got some livestock and stuff in there, and she was wanting to know what we could do about it. And I've talked to Mr. Hatfield about it, and Martin, you can tell what you've researched on this.
Yeah. From what I know factually, it is a subdivision, and it's a subdivision that has restrictions. Restrictions in a subdivision are enforced by the homeowners of that subdivision or the property owners of that subdivision. It's not anything that the county would be able to enforce because we don't enforce private subdivision rules. So even if it's a county road, the subdivision rules would have to be, and the restrictions would have to be enforced by the property owner or owners, and to do that, they would have to seek advice of private counsel. Again, I'm basing that on the facts that I've been told, that there's no connection between the county and that subdivision, other than maybe it's a county road.
It's not even a county road.
Yeah, I think that's what you and I talked about, wasn't even a county road.
Yeah, that road's never been finished up and put in the county system. It's not even on a county road.
But even if it were subdivision with a county road, this court can't enforce subdivision
I mean, if
restrictions.
they want to put a cow on their lot, they can.
Correct. And if a homeowner, if there are restrictions against that, the other homeowners have to enforce that by way of legal action. But this court has no authority to govern that.
Danny, you went and looked at that too, haven't you? Thought you did.
Is it a nuisance or anything like that to the people around it, or?
What it is they have restrictions of, say, you can have a horse or you can have a dog, but it excludes swine. And that's actually what the neighbor has, is pigs.
Huh.
And I told her at that point in time that I don't think that our court has jurisdiction with how a subdivision, as far as the restrictions in it.
And that's totally accurate. Other than with our nuisance ordinance, but the nuisance ordinance doesn't cover that. It's a very narrowly drawn nuisance ordinance, and it doesn't cover that.
Does the county have a nuisance ordinance?
Yes, it's what get the mowing and the subdivision, mowing of lots and that sort of thing. It also has language in there about
Abandoned properties.
abandoned property and vehicles, mobile homes, but nothing about animals.
Does it have anything to boom boxes?
Boom boxes. I don't recall that being in there.
Can I ask you to, I don't know, put you on the spot here, about the abandoned properties? Do you know what verbiage it has regarding that?
Not off the top of my head.
Because I have a property that somebody's complaining on where the homeowner, I guess, has gone to prison. And the house has been just let go. And it's a nice house, but it's just not, it's overgrown now.
It's not, abandoned's not going to probably hit the mark. It's got to be dilapidated, basically, is the way we've always interpreted it.
Is there anything the county can do for somebody that's gone to prison and the neighbors are having to deal with the,
Nothing other than keep the yard mowed.
And it's not in the subdivision.
Oh, that one's not in subdivision? No, there's nothing. Nope. Without zoning, planning and zoning, can't do anything.
Thank you, Martin.
you don't have anything else? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?